Alright, so the first thing you must do before you quit your job is choose what you want to be doing after you quit your job. Don't go running away from something you don't want. What we want to do is run towards something that we do want. Two things you should do here. Number one, write a list of things that you want to be, do, and have in your future. And number two is to write out your ideal day. Because by knowing what your ideal day actually looks like, in 5 years from now, for example, but if you know what your ideal day looks like, what is a typical morning, who are the people in your life, what kind of activities do you do, what's your significance in the community, what kind of assets and toys and actions do you take, write it out in a chronological sense. You wake up at 6 a.m, you do some yoga, you have some meditation, you have some breakfast, you hang out with some people, you take your Labrador for a walk. This kind of ideal day really sets the tone for those next things that you want to focus on. Ideal Day is a beautiful document that you should hang on your wall and share with your friends and let people know that this is what you're trying to create with your life so that they can contribute. That brings me to the other thing, writing a be, do, have list. 3 columns, things you want to be, things you want to do, things you want to have. Don't just sit there and write, I want to be happy. You want to be specific. You want to stipulate exactly what happy means to you if you want to write that word, which is very difficult to do. So write things like, I want to be able to run I want to be able to run 8 kilometers in 40 minutes. For example, I want to have $10,000 sitting in my bank account for security purposes so I don't have to freak out about money. I want to have a 6-pack stomach. I want to have a permaculture garden in my background. I want to do a trip to the pyramids. I want to do, a month off every Christmas where I go and spend time with my family. These are specific things where you want to write them down, things you want to be, things you want to do, things you want to have. Push beyond 20 in each list because the first 10 or so are going to be programmed in your brain by advertising and by things that you've seen your friends get that you think you can get. So those easy ones at the start, get them out of your head, get them onto paper, get past 10 on each list, and then start pushing for more. Once you get to 50, you're starting to become one of the high achievers. So push for 100. If you can get 100 things you want to be, do, and have in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of your life, you will be one of the top 3% of people on the earth who set goals, and this will change everything about the way you live. Now, don't get stuck on how. A lot of these things you don't know how to do or you would have done them already. But how turns up when you're in the shower, when you're driving, when you're meditating, when you're falling asleep, when you're cutting carrots at the table. You know this is true. You have these things called pop moments where you're like, oh my God, that's how I'm going to do it. So when you're writing your be, do, have list, don't get stuck on the how. Don't think, oh, I can't do that. Write the biggest, most crazy shit you can. Because I can tell you most people who've been really successful in their life, they didn't know how they were going to do it. They just knew that that's what they wanted and they knew why they wanted it. So write down the things you want to be, do, and have. Write your ideal day. Get excited about your future and run towards the life you want. Don't go running away from the job that you think you don't like because of various other vague things that are going on in your head. Get excited about your future and get clear on what your life should be like when you change. Because this next job opportunity, this next career, this next business, if you don't know where you're trying to go, it's just going to get you more of what you've already got. And that's not the goal here, is it? We want you to have an amazing life. I want you to feel empowered to be able to create beautiful things in the world. And when you know what you want, that's going to give you the motivation to do the rest of the work that I'm going to propose in the next few videos. So get writing. And by the way, this is fantastic work and you deserve a reward. So go and buy yourself a lovely dinner or a favorite coffee or take half a day off and go and sit at the beach and spend some time on this because you should invest in your future. You should get clear on what you want. This is one of the most common things in all personal development, so don't take my word for it. Go and do your study if you need to, but write down who you want to be, where you want to be, what you want to do, the things you want to have, the actions you want to take, and the assets and toys that you want in your future because it is up to you to choose. Or else someone's going to choose for you and you don't want that because that's what got you where you are. Mwah. Thank you, bye.